Bobcat is the new for 2024 roller coaster at Six Flags Great Escape. This is a small-scale gravity group wood coaster. The ride has modest stats and size, making it appealing to younger guests, but the ride also packs in many moments of airtime, so it's exciting for older guests and thrill seekers as well. This is why I now think it's the best family coaster in the chain, and I'll explain why in this review. Bobcat is a big deal for this New York theme park. While Six Flags is known for roller coasters, Great Escape gets far less investment in this area than the chain's other parks. For the past 2 decades, they have sported just 6 roller coasters. Their last coaster was added back in 2005, and that was Frankie's Mine Train Kiddie Coaster. Their last adult coaster came in 2003. That was Canyon Blaster, an Aero mine train relocated from Opryland. The park's only new major coaster came in 1997. That was a Vekoma boomerang that is now known as Flashback. Most coasters this park has received through the years have been relocations. One such ride was Alpine Bobsled. This was an Intamin bobsled that previously ran at Six Flags Great Adventure and Six Flags Great America. It was moved to Great Escape in 1998. While the ride was popular, it was extremely problematic. I have visited Great Escape annually since 2013, minus 2020 when the park was closed for the pandemic. I was only able to ride that coaster in 2 of those trips. There were 3 reasons for that. First, it had putrid capacity. The ride usually operated with just 3 cars, and in its final years, the back row was blocked off, so each bobsled only held 6 guests. With 2 minutes in between vehicles, this led to an hourly capacity of roughly 180 riders. Second, it had limited hours. It often opened late, and it had to close by 6 p.m. due to noise issues. Third, it was extremely unreliable. There were several reasons that could cause this ride to shut down. 1. Intamin has not made any Swiss Bobs since 1985, meaning replacement parts were extremely hard to find. That is why there's only one left in La Vibora at Six Flags Over Texas. 2. The ride could not operate if the trough had any moisture in it. This meant the ride closed for the day if it rained, and it was not a guarantee it would even be dry by the following day. The coaster also would close on days with high humidity. 3. Due to the freewheeling nature of the ride, items in the trough were hazards, so the ride would shut down if a guest lost something or if leaves or branches fell inside the trough after a windstorm. All of this led to Great Escape announcing Alpine Bobsled would close in 2023. I always suspected this plot would be assimilated into the water park, given its proximity and the fact one of the nearby slide towers was originally named Alpine Freefalls. But days before Alpine Bobsled permanently closed, the park surprisingly announced they would be replacing it with an all-new roller coaster in Bobcat. This would be a gravity group wood coaster. This was the first coaster built entirely with their pre-cut track. This wood is stacked vertically, making it stiffer and 30 times stronger. The track is also precision machined in a factory to ensure perfect shaping. We've seen bits of this track added to other wood coasters and it has run like a dream there. So unsurprisingly, Bobcat is extremely smooth and it should remain like that for a long time. This ride is also notable for the Six Flags chain as a whole because it's the first time they have worked with this renowned wood coaster manufacturer. And Six Flags likes to buy in bulk, so hopefully this means more rides like Bobcat could spread to other parks in the chain, because a wilder family coaster like this would be a welcome addition at so many of their properties. Great Escape did an admirable job paying homage to the prior attraction. They built a memorial by Alpine Bobsled's old entrance. The cool-looking archway bearing the ride's name is still intact, and one of the ride vehicles was placed in front of it. The new coaster kept Bob in the name in a clever way. Then the ride reused the old station. This ski lodge aesthetic works for a wilderness-themed coaster. But that's not all the park did to make this ride look good. The layout itself has no theming, but that's on par with most wood coasters. The trains, however, have an adorable Bobcat sculpted into the front. Then the ride is a beautiful entrance. It's a large archway bearing the ride's name and logo. Adjacent to it are some rocks and a flowing waterfall. And there are also a handful of Bobcat statues placed around it as well. I also like how the ride was oriented so the lift hill goes towards the midway. This is the inverse of what the Alpine Bobsled did. This placement gives more energy to the midway, and it really shows off the new ride. The queue itself is not too flashy, but it goes through the ride structure so it offers some nice views. It's pretty long, but it's my understanding it has never been completely full thus far. A large chunk of the queue is covered, but the final approach to the station is in direct sunlight. This can get quite hot. Fortunately, the wait from the bottom of the ramp should not be more than 20 minutes. This is where the queue has been most days, but it has hit 30 to 45 minutes on busier days in the afternoon. If you want to marathon this coaster, your best bets are to head here immediately after opening because it's towards the back of the park. Or you can head here at the end of the night. A few Saturdays ago, my wife and I were able to sit on the train without getting off for 20 minutes. For the ride's opening year, it is not included on the base levels of the park's Go Fast Pass Skip the Line system. Bobcat has an additional $15 surcharge. It is also worth noting this ride is currently not eligible for the membership Skip the Line passes either. I suspect those restrictions will be lifted in future seasons, especially because this ride has better capacity than most coasters at this park. This ride has really short trains. Each seats just 12 riders max, as there are 6 rows of 2. But this ride thankfully runs 2 trains, which helps keep the line moving quickly. Comet is the only other coaster in this park capable of doing that. Bobcat also has very fast operations. This coaster is a short cycle time at just over 1 minute. Then the restraints are simple to check, as there's just a lap bar. There are no additional seatbelts, so the crew often has the next train ready to go when the prior one hits that final brake run. Like most Gravity Group coasters, this ride operates with their Timberliner trains. I find the seats and padding comfortable. Then the lap bar swivels from the side. The bar is relatively bulky, but that's understandable because it allows the coaster to operate with a super low 42-inch height requirement. It can restrict your airtime if you get stapled, but that thankfully didn't happen too often. And it's worth noting the restraint locks when the train dispatches, so it won't come down further during the ride. When you reach the station, you are free to select any row you'd like. Every row is enjoyable, but I like the back best because you get the full power of the first drop. Once dispatched, you swiftly climb the 55-foot or 17-meter tall lift hill. At the top, you navigate a tight 180-degree turn. If you're seated in the back, you'll get some weak laterals towards the end of it because the train starts picking up speed as it crests the drop. Now that drop is my favorite part of the ride. It's a straight plunge offering a nice pop of airtime in the rear rows. It's on par with a lot of the other small-scale gravity groups. Immediately afterwards, you have a large bunny hill. It offers decent floater airtime for all. It's a more sustained moment than a lot of other gravity groups that focus on quicker pops. The descent also includes a great head chopper, as you narrowly avoid the steel beam supporting the double down later in the ride. You bank left and navigate a trick track double up. This is a weird element to see on a wood coaster, but it tracks fluidly because of the pre-cut track. The off-axis banking is a fun visual. Then you get some negative Gs. It is okay floater towards the front of the train. The airtime is weaker in strength towards the back, but it is compensated by the sizable dip after the element. This sustains the airtime a bit more. Then comes the far turnaround. It's a 180-degree turn broken up by a speed hill. The twists offer weak laterals. Then that hump offers a solid pop of airtime. This is a nice feature that breaks up what would have been a relatively uninspired directional change. Next is another bunny hill. This meekly lifts you out of your seat, but it's another maneuver that's aided by a sweet head chopper. You narrowly avoid another steel beam, this time from the double up. You then twist left, getting some minor laterals, and then you rise upwards. This leads into a double down. The first hump gives weak floater for all. The second dip offers similar airtime in the front, but it's better in the back as you're more abruptly bounced upwards. Next is a low 180-degree bank turn, offering some solid sustained laterals. Bobcat then jumps upwards into the brake run, gently throwing riders forward one last time. You then smoothly decelerate and return to the station, ending the 1,412-foot or 430-meter-long coaster. The ride does feel a bit short if you compare it to larger wood coasters out there, but the duration is fine for a family coaster. I already mentioned this coaster is very smooth, but what about the pacing? Despite only having a top speed of 40 miles per hour or 64 kilometers per hour, this coaster feels significantly faster. That is because it zips from one element to the next, and each element offers some degree of airtime or laterals, so they're all engaging. I do need to talk about this ride's airtime though. It is quite a bit different than the other small-scale gravity groups. If you've ridden something like Roar-O-Saurus at Storyland or Wooden Warrior at Quasi, you know the airtime consists of these quick sharp pops. Some of it crosses over into the ejector threshold. Bobcat's airtime is far floatier and more graceful, and honestly, I think this airtime is better suited for a family coaster. It is more digestible for inexperienced riders and younger guests. And I should note that I rode Bobcat on a hot summer day, when it should be running its fastest. I also want to note the airtime did not change whether I rode it at the start or end of the day. Interestingly, the ride was patterned after Timber at Wallaby Roan Alps. I have not ridden that coaster, but I've heard the airtime is more aggressive on that one. So I think Gravity Group may have intentionally tweaked the layout here, which is understandable. So what would I rate the Bobcat? I would give this coaster a 7.5 out of 10. This is a good coaster. This park needed a new coaster, and they got one that is appealing for so many demographics. This ride is quick pacing and a bevy of airtime moments, all in an approachable package. The reason it did not score higher is because this is my least favorite of the small-scale gravity groups I've been on. I prefer the more aggressive pops their other installations offer, but that just comes down to personal preference and what you want in a ride. This is a perfect fit for Great Escape, and I think this will become the favorite ride at the park for many. My favorite ride there is still the Comet though. I prefer that ride for the nostalgia, longer experience, and wider variety of forces. And Comet was running the best I've seen it since the pandemic in my recent trip. Great Escape is arguably the most charming park in the Six Flags chain. For as many enthusiasts who make it to Six Flags New England, I don't see nearly as many trip reports from Great Escape, and that is surprising considering the park is just 2 hours away. If you have not been ever or recently, Bobcat definitely makes it worth the trek. So those are my thoughts on Bobcat at Six Flags Great Escape. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Have you ridden it? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.